Hello and welcome back to the Am I Successful Yet podcast, the podcast where we reframe success through rose colored glasses. My name is Rachael Karlyl and I am your host. Today, I just wanted to do a quick episode about personal branding. Yes, personal branding, that old chestnut. Now, I know that for some reasons, people still don't have personal or business. Let's call yourself as a business, your personal brand, maybe an Instagram page, a LinkedIn page, something like this. And I just think that particularly in like professional services, in this day and age, like it's 2026, you're going to need to have something that identifies you differently to what other people are doing. And I think that it's really difficult sometimes. And I know that there's obviously gurus out there. Gary V, my friend Mel Story, talk about how to pitch yourself, I guess, as on social media and what and how to post. But I just wanted to do a quick episode about, I guess, how I have done my personal branding and what that has kind of looked like. So I guess I had the benefit of past running a business. I have been through the period of my career where I guess outwardly talking about things, having conversations, being worried about what people are thinking, all of those things. I've been through those experiences. I've been through those emotions. And I know how it feels when I guess you're throwing stuff out there and it's like, oh, that sounds terrible, or I should have done that better. And what if people question me? What if people question, my ability or my capacity to be able, not capacity, almost like questioning my intelligence. Who am I to say that? Who am I to be the person to come out and say that? The reality is, I think that one of the biggest learnings I've had over the last few years is that everyone has a story and everyone has an experience. And your story, your experience is what makes you uniquely you. And that's what helps you show up authentically as you. Your story is worth telling. And I think that I really struggled. So if you look at, for example, shows like, the old things of Australian Idol and Australia's Got Talent or whatever these shows are, everyone that was successful in inverted commas in those, a lot of the times had some crazy sob story around, something crazy in their life happened and then they found singing and then here we are and they've made it through to the last stage of auditions or whatever it is. So I think in an era where people's stories have been so extreme, it's easy to kind of look at people that are successful, again, in inverted commas, and think that, wait a minute, I don't really have a story to tell because, maybe my upbringing was okay. Maybe I'm actually happy in my relationship. Maybe I like my children, all of those things. It's really easy to kind of say, oh, well, my story is not worth telling. I think that that is wrong as a starting point for personal branding, is that your story is your story and you are the only one that can tell it in a way that is your perception, your view, and the way in which things, you perceive happened to you. Now, I'll put a caveat on that and be like, I would highly recommend not to talk about things that are super raw. I have a few videos recorded when I had a bit of a work thing earlier this year where something happened and I wasn't feeling amazing. And I recorded a few videos, but they're so raw, the way in which I was feeling. And it was more just like a bit of I'm going to record this so that I can put myself back in that situation when I am ready to have that conversation and ready to understand exactly why I felt the way that I did. So I would challenge you, or not challenge you, I would recommend that you don't share things when they're real and raw, because if you are having conversations and you're attempting to record a podcast episode or be a guest on a podcast or be a speaker or write a post on LinkedIn or whatever it is, and you break down in tears or you sound really jaded or something like this, then that kind of is going to bring some insight into what's going on in your life, whether or not, you've welcomed that or not. So first thing is, I guess your story is worth telling. The second thing is I wouldn't tell raw parts of the story as they're happening. And the third thing is, I guess personal brand it doesn't have to be some big flashy thing. Right now I have my own logo, my own website that I've created. And it's just sort of the common pink and red combo that's going on at the moment around, in fashion and in marketing and things like this. Just use the pink and red combo because that was easy and I just love it and it's amazing. I'm sure, why not, right? Just going to do that. And because I built all of these things myself. And so I would strongly encourage you to give it a crack. There's lots of tools out there that can support you to help you build out, if you want to do things like a logo or a website, there's lots of tools out there that can help you do those things. And when you're developing your personal brand, I think what is important is that you are the person that you are putting out into the universe, or you are the person that you are putting out on a stage, in a work meeting, with your colleagues, with the people that you mentor or lead. You are consistently the same person throughout. So there's definitely going to be different, versions of you that show up in different parts of your life. But if you're showing up as significantly different people in different parts of your life, then I guess that's kind of off brand in a way. I've got to post a reel that I did recently on Instagram, and it's funny because we've been renovating a house, and now we've started to be able to put things in the house, and it's my brand radiates through even the disco fruit bowl that I have. So I have fruit that is in little disco balls. I have a banana fruit disco ball, I have a cherries disco ball, and a watermelon disco ball. And they sit in this beautiful pink bowl. And to me, that is still on brand. I have a sequin nightie that I have, and that is all on brand. I wear colorful clothes every day. I know that, I currently work in the government, and, maybe I'm a little bit off brand for some offices, but the reality is that is my personal brand. That is how I want to show up in the world, and that makes me feel good. And the reality is you have one opportunity to make a first impression. So if you are constantly living the version of you that is you want to be in your brand, then you will constantly show up consistently, and people will start to recognize and know you for your personal brand. So I challenge you to have that radiating through all aspects of your life. I don't care if you're going to, school sports, or, kids sports on the weekend, you're going to a birthday party with friends, you're going on a holiday, whatever it is, your personal brand should be consistently you throughout. And when it is consistently you throughout, from start to finish, in all of the experiences and all of the things that you have to do throughout your life, all the normal everyday things, you will realize that the authenticity that you provide and the genuineness that your brand gives will start to change the energy around the people that you're going to attract, the people or the experiences, the energy that you're attracting, because you are just being genuinely, authentically you. And it is more attractive and more open, and people are more willing to interact and bring to the forefront people that are genuine and authentic, particularly in this age of AI and all the bullshit going on in the world, where there's lots of not genuineness. I was going to say disingenuity. I don't know if that's a word. Can't say it if it is. There's lots of that going on in the world. So I just wanted to, do a quick episode to essentially just say, personal brand, have a story to tell, but don't tell stories when you're in the raw thick of it. And your personal brand should radiate through all of the parts of you. So it might be your disco fruit bowl, it might be your sequin nightie, it might be the branding that you chose because you like the colors and it's pretty. But just have a think about that. What do you want that to look like? And if you have nil personal brand right now, I would say that you probably need it. It's 2026. I would say that starting to build something that reminds people of you helps you then stand out from the crowd, helps you then, if you're putting a resume in for a job, if you're trying to get a speaking gig, even if, you're trying to get into a new relationship, the reality is if you have a personal brand, people know who you are and they know what they're getting. They only know what they're getting though if you're being genuine and authentic. But if you are, then people know what they're getting. So tell your story, tell it genuinely, tell it authentically, and let that brand be you. And because no one is youier than you, which comes from Dr. Seuss, obviously. That is what I wanted to say today. That is today's episode. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Please share with someone that doesn't have a personal brand yet, because they need to freaking get one. And please like, comment, subscribe. Share even your personal brands below in the comments. I would love to understand what your personal brands are, how you came up with them, what they are, what your persona is. And have a wonderful day.